What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and today I want to talk about the idea of Xbox versus PlayStation because it feels like the narrative between these two major consoles has begun to shift. It feels like PlayStation, which has always been on top with so many exclusives, with the top selling console, with basically the most sales of every single game, Sony has been in the lead for a very long time. And they still are, but there has been this sudden rise in the conversation that Xbox is bad, but Sony is worse. And I want to talk about that because there have been some rumblings and some leaks that apparently Xbox is just actually in the dumpster. And while Sony continues to make mistakes, they can still probably fix it. But let's talk. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, this is going to be real off the cuff. I just want to talk about some stuff I've heard and show you some stuff because this is something that I feel like is interesting going into the holiday season. I mean, typically for October, November, and December, we see the most games move, the biggest releases, and stuff like that. And typically this is when consoles actually sell. And I feel like a lot of the conversation has sort of pivoted because of the Pro. The PlayStation 5 Pro has undoubtedly stirred up a lot of animosity towards Sony because it is just so dang expensive. And I've seen a bunch of screenshots going around that it seems like, at least according to some websites, some retailers, they're not really selling. It sounds like Sony has not really been able to sell them perhaps as fast as they thought. In fact, I saw this tweet from Destin Gary that people were very mad about, but I actually think he's bringing up a great point, which is the fact that the PlayStation 5 Pro shows a pivot in spending habits. He makes it very clear that he's not saying that Pro is bad or that it's just a useless hunk of plastic, but instead the fact that, honestly, everybody is broke. I've been talking about this in videos, but it does seem like, just in general, I think part of the reason that live service games have become so extremely popular is a lot of them are free up front or very, very cheap. I mean, even something like World of Warcraft or something, yeah, you gotta get the game, but then it's just $15 a month for infinite fun, or all the people that play Fortnite for thousands of hours and then buy just a couple little $5, $10 skins here and there. The popularity of it is the cheapness of it and the fact that it runs on anything. You can play Fortnite on a phone, on a Nintendo Switch, on a low-end laptop, or even stream it, you know? My point is the fact that the Pro is not selling, I think it is indicative of the fact that it's just not that big of a graphical leap for such a significant price tag. But part of the inspiration for this video was a quote that was said last night on the Spawncast. Now, you guys know I was on the Spawncast for about 8 years. I haven't been on there in a bit, but they had Jason Schreier, which is one of the most famous leakers of all time, and he said the quote, "Xbox is a mess." Sony is in a weird spot as well because Sony is apparently getting ready to launch Horizon Online. Apparently the next big PS5 game is Horizon Online. It's going to be a big online sort of, there have been some leaked gameplay of it. It kind of looks like Monster Hunter to me, but it sounds like you're going to make a character, you're going to go out there, you're going to hunt beasts, and they're going to sell you tons and tons of microtransactions to basically be costumes and stuff like that. And so it's weird that Sony is still going down that path, but it sounds like Xbox's plan is nothing. Xbox is such a mess right now. I feel like their plan is changing every single year. Right now they're talking about a handheld, but who knows? A year ago they were saying Indiana Jones was never coming to PlayStation, and now it is coming to PlayStation here in about 5 months. Their disaster over there, it's really just sad. I've seen stuff like this, which to me is just hilarious. As the dust settles on the PS5 Pro, I'm still glad that Xbox didn't bother. Now, I read this article, and to be honest, it's pretty bad. I'm not even bagging on the author. I want to make it clear I'm not attacking this person. But it's short. It's clearly just clickbait. It's clearly, literally, it's like 6 paragraphs. It's literally a guy being like, you know, I'm glad I'm on the green side of the gaming fence, which obviously is funny because Xbox really isn't releasing games, so even if you want to claim the PlayStation 5 Pro is a bad idea from a business standpoint, which I'm definitely in that camp, it's still difficult to say that that Xbox is doing better than PlayStation. But the reason I wanted to talk about this more than anything else is I feel like Sony and Xbox are in such a weird position where in this thread, a lot of people are talking about the fact that it does seem like Xbox just tried to buy the gaming industry. They spent hundreds of billions of dollars buying stuff like Activision Blizzard and Double Fine and building up 343 Industries and stuff. But it's pretty obvious that from the Microsoft part of this, they did think you can just buy it out, because you can do that in other industries. I mean, if you spent enough money, you could buy a baseball team. You could buy every baseball team. You could buy the MLB. You could buy a movie studio. You can buy Marvel Comics. The fact that Disney just purchased Star Wars for billions of dollars, I think a lot of these companies think you can just eat something and it will instantly start producing money when the gaming industry doesn't work like that. Like, the biggest misstep that Xbox has made, in my opinion by far, and provably so, is the fact that they just think you can instantly turn things around, right? They think you can just, the second you make Master Chief a good brand, it's just going to make money forever. Oh, Master Chief is popular. We can sell Master Chief books and Master Chief merch and Master Chief games and Master Chief TV shows. And a lot of that stuff is not only not profitable, but the time to do it is just getting longer and longer and longer. Sony understands the business better than Xbox does. I mean, provably so. They're still making games like Astrobot, and even if you hate stuff like God of War Ragnarok, I mean, I absolutely love that game. I think it's interesting to see that Sony is still continuing to try and grow their own brand. Like, I'll be honest, I don't like the fact that Sony is so obsessed with live service. A lot of people are not happy with live service. I think a lot of their live service games, honestly, are just going to completely nosedive, if I'm being honest with you. But I think even this, though, is still a testament that Sony is trying to grow for better and for worse. I want to make that clear. I think Sony is trying to innovate, but sometimes innovation can take you down a bad path. By experimenting, by testing out new things, you don't naturally end up in the best place ever. I've read some books about evolutionary psychology and biology, basically meaning like the thinking patterns of ancient life, paleoarchaeology, goofy stuff like that, right? Okay, not a ton. Obviously, I'm still a very dumb guy, but there is a bunch of vestigial parts of our DNA. There's a bunch of useless junk data inside us of failed paths of evolution. There's actually a thing inside of our eye that looks like at one point maybe we're going to be more of aquatic monkeys. We have like a little filter like alligators have, but it doesn't deploy, so we don't have like natural goggles. My point is the fact that evolution is not a singular path. It's not constantly improving. And so I think when I look at Sony and when I look at Microsoft, they are both trying to evolve. They are both attempting to go in better directions. It just seems that Sony is evolving faster and they've happened to pick a lot better DNA. I think the part of this that I think could help Xbox, but it won't save them, is the rumors of the Xbox handheld. This has been rumored now for months. In fact, obviously, Jason Schreier mentioned it here. It sounds like they're going to tease this very soon in an official capacity and actually show it. And I am very excited about this. There is actually some rumors that Sony is inspired by this as well. There is some leaked documents going around about the PlayStation 6, and it does sound like the PS6 is just going to be a PS5 Pro. It's just going to be a PlayStation with even better graphics and, 8K instead of 4K, backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4. But it sounds like there is some talks about making two separate SKUs, two separate versions of the PlayStation 6, and one of them will be able to dock and undock, essentially some sort of handheld for the PlayStation to compete with this possible handheld Xbox. To me, that all sounds great, but we'll see how it actually works out. This kind of research and development, this R&D, is extremely pricey, and it can go bad, very bad, right? I mean, I think the Steam Deck is incredible, but that almost seems like a fluke. Valve got it right when everybody else seems to get it very, very wrong. But how do you feel about the idea of Xbox versus PlayStation, and does this seem correct to you? I don't know. It just seems like Sony is lazy. Sony is in a very precarious spot of over-ego and under-deliver, but I do still have a lot of hope. I will say that even if I'm currently bagging on PlayStation a lot, I am still 100% optimistic that they will be good again. I'm just, God, I'm so ready to get back to the good days of PlayStation. But what do you guys think? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. I wore this PlayStation shirt just to be silly because I'm sure the comment section will go, oh my God, Sony Pony Guy. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.